Part 1. The Gravity Test. Students failed the gravity test. The Deathworld girl passed it while braiding her hair. I read the room through the floor. That is not a figure of speech. The Rari foot sensors run subdermally, calibrated to read mass, tremor frequency, and compensatory lean through any surface we stand on. In 14 years at Facility Bretis Dorn, I had logged 841 cadet signatures on the Certus 9-chamber floor. I knew what a body sounds like before it loses. The floor always told me first. No warning in the readout, no tremor in the floor, no distress for the instruments to find. That was lane 33. The intake manifest listed the 33rd cadet as human. Female. 51.7 kilograms. Homeworld. Deathworld Type 5. The odds board had her at 290 to 1. I logged her cord at security screening. Non-regulation green and white utility thread, frayed at both ends, and almost flagged it. She watched me hover and said, "It's not a weapon. It's just something for my hands to do when my head needs to be somewhere else." I cleared her through. She walked to her floor mark without looking at the odds board. The Certus 9 gravitational compliance matrix runs 94 minutes at 7.1 standard gravities. The rubric was built by the Vari biomechanists, who had never encountered a Deathworld Type 5 specimen. In practice, it was built around the Azavek. At 6:12 hours, I had 41 pressure signatures on my console. Cadet Ovikson held lane 4. Azavek. 118 kilograms. Triple density femoral structure. He walked in rolling his weight heel to toe, the way Azavek do when they have already decided they have beaten a room. The odds board had him at 2 to 1. The species record was 88 minutes, set by an Azavek 6 years ago. The rubric's design parameters matched Azavek anatomy so closely that, for 40 years, this certification had been a formality. In the gallery above, 3 Valari observers had their documentation slates recording. They were always recording. The Kthalii cluster held lanes 12 through 14, low-slung, spine ridges already flexing as the gravity climbed. One of them tapped a rhythm against their thigh. I knew that tell. The architecture preloading, running its checks. At lane 33, Sira Davin stood with her eyes on the middle distance, fingers loose near the cord at her wrist. No preload. No cataloging of the room. She looked, and I logged this in the anomaly file because it had no other home. The ramp hit 7.1 standard at the 10-minute mark. I read all 41 signatures and began to catalog. The Kthalii went first. The spine lock signature arrived before the visual. All 3 were down between minutes 13 and 17. Standard. Expected. Part 2. The anomaly. By minute 22, the Valari membrane flush had started. Pale gold first, then deep amber stress bioluminescence visible through the observation glass. One observer stopped documenting and simply watched. In 14 years, I had never seen that happen. At minute 22, Sira Davin raised her right hand. Her fingers found the cord without her looking at it. She divided the cord and a section of her hair into 3 parts and began braiding. The floor beneath lane 33 read, 51.7 kilograms. Even distribution. No compensatory lean. Posture within 3 degrees of vertical. I ran the readout again and again. Every instrument I had was built to find the moment a body gives up. She gave me nothing to find. At minute 38, Ovikson went down. Wide planted stance to full limb contact in 0.5 seconds. The floor read him exactly as the rubric predicted. Lane 33 still read, 51.7 kilograms. Even. 3 degrees off vertical. Still braiding. The Thalii had architecture. The Azavek had density. She had something the rubric had no field for. At minute 52, she finished the braid, tied the cord around the end, then sat down cross-legged voluntarily, elbows on her knees. She sat the way you sit when a bench appears. The floor read, pressure shifted from feet to sitting bones. Unhurried. Even. Not collapsed. Not compensatory. The floor had one category for cadets on the ground. It was called non-voluntary floor contact. I stared at that label. Then I created a new field. I called it orientation chosen. At minute 61, the last Thalii cadet standing finally folded. My floor read, 31 cadets horizontal. Non-voluntary. Lane 33. Cross-legged. Cord tied into a braid. 33 minutes left on the timer. The gravity ramp cut at minute 94. The chamber returned to 1 standard in 45 seconds. Part 3. The Legend of Lane 33. 30 pressure signatures scattered in post-load relief. Joints unlocking. Muscles releasing what they had held too long. I know that pattern. It was expected. Lane 33 did not scatter. She stood. She untied the cord from her braid and looped it back around her wrist. She looked at the cadets on the floor, not with triumph, but with the expression of someone noting that an expected thing had occurred. She stepped around a fallen cadet without even looking down. She had known he was there all along. She paused at the threshold and turned back once. "Is there water past this door?" My voice came out lower than intended. I told her yes. She nodded and walked out. The chamber was perfectly still. 30 cadets breathing. 1 floor mark empty. 51.7 kilograms gone. And the room still holding the shape of where she had been. The Valari observer who had put his slate down wrote a 14-page record from memory that night. It became the primary institutional document. Her name was in it. The formal review board convened 9 days later. I submitted 94 minutes of pressure log data. The anatomical officers returned with only 2 conclusions: sensor malfunction, or immediate revision of the Deathworld Type 5 classification. The sensors tested within 0.3% of factory specification. The doctrine revision took 9 weeks. Through channels that officially do not exist, I later heard that the CERTI's 9 threshold footnote now references a 94-minute run at Brett Hisdorn. It does not include her name. The cord is stored in a sealed archive case on sublevel 3. This final entry reads, Non-regulation textile. CERTI's 9 endurance run. Brett Hisdorn. Origin Deathworld v. Condition, worn. I think about that word sometimes. Worn. As if the important thing was never what it was made of, but how long it had been used. I still run the pressure log every morning. I am still looking for a comparison signature. I do not think one exists. The console surface is smooth under my palms. The chamber floor is empty. Sublevel 3 holds its case in the dark.